undeniably in the top 10.
Best player in the NFL is Joe Burrow.
No.
He's never made it to the Super Bowl.
Ravens had the worst defense in the NFL for 9 weeks.
He's got 2 quarterbacks in just the AFC that don't even respect him.
Lamar Jackson's probably one of the most respected players.
Lamar Jackson is Mr. October, and in football, that's not a great thing. You got to be Mr. January, and he has never been that.
Give me 10 quarterbacks over Lamar Jackson.
If you put Baker Mayfield on the Ravens.
Do you believe that in your heart?
This is why he's not in the Super Bowl right now. Congratulations.
What is going on, guys? Today we are going to dive into a video posted by House of Highlights, 1 fan versus 10 haters, Lamar Jackson edition. Okay, so I do want to dive into this. I'm going to give you, as a Kansas City Chiefs fan and a Patrick Mahomes truther, what I would have said in response to what Mr. Jack had to say. I do want to give the guy a shout out. His name is @JackSettleman. I think that's his @ for all his socials, TikTok, Twitter, and all this. I also want to disclose, I understand this is wildly unfair to him, that I'm doing this hindsight 2020 in the future tense, whatever you want to call it there. So let's dive into this. Here's what I would have said. Here would my reactions would have been.
Our first prompt. Lamar Jackson is the best player in the NFL.
Okay, so I obviously wildly disagree with this. I still think Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL, best quarterback in the NFL. I do find the Lamar Jackson faction interesting because he can do things that other quarterbacks can't do. I just don't think that makes you the best player, best quarterback in the NFL.
You're going to say he's the best player in the NFL, yet he hasn't won anything meaningful. How can you make that argument that he's the best player in the NFL?
Is Jalen Hurts the second best player in the NFL right now?
I mean, I would say Patrick Mahomes is the best player in the NFL simply because he's won Super Bowls. Also, he's won MVPs.
But Jalen Hurts has made it to 2 Super Bowls in the last 3 years. So is the quarterback's team success dependent strictly on the quarterback? Or, like, I'm trying to figure out what your metric is.
So I don't really know what Jack is trying to argue with the Jalen Hurts being the second best player thing. The thing with Patrick Mahomes is, yes, he's got the team success and the individual success. That's what separates him from every other quarterback in the league playing today. The argument I'd also make is, at what point did Lamar Jackson pass Patrick Mahomes? You have to conclude at some point in the last 7 years, Patrick Mahomes was the best player, and you have to conclude at some point that Lamar Jackson passed him as the best player.
Quarterback is the most important position on the team.
Agreed.
So if you're going to look at that, you're going to look at Lamar Jackson. Yes, he's been great in the regular season. No one's denying that. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to winning important games, being the best player to take your team to the next level, he is astoundingly bad. 4-12, more turnovers than touchdowns. You cannot argue that he's terrible in big game situations.
So what do you qualify as a big game? Because you're hand-picking what games.
Any game in the playoffs.
Okay, he's only played the Steelers in the playoffs 1 time, and he absolutely dunked on them the last time. Then he played the Houston Texans last year. He absolutely dunked on them in that game. So the new version of Lamar Jackson has actually been pretty solid.
So I actually somewhat agree with Jack that Lamar has been better in big games or early rounds of the playoffs recently than before. You notice, though, he left out the AFC Championship game from 2024, and he left out the divisional round game from this past season. The 2024 AFC Championship game, he got strip sacked. He threw a terrible interception late in the game. He was not particularly good, at least from a film standpoint. Now, the Ravens gave up on their running game, which was elite. I understand that criticism, but I don't think that bails Lamar out in that situation. He was awful the first half of the divisional round game against Buffalo. He was not good. He played a tremendous second half. What I'm asking, before I'm willing to call this guy or even put him in the conversation for best player in the NFL, put one full playoff run together where you're at least solid the whole time. I've seen Patrick Mahomes do that. Hell, I've seen Josh Allen do it, even though he's lost playoff games. Lamar Jackson has still not done that any playoff appearance yet.
Has he ever made it to the Super Bowl?
No.
So how can you say that he's the best player in the NFL? He's never made it to the Super Bowl.
Is Jimmy Garoppolo the best player in the NFL? Like, once again, is that how we're gauging it?
I mean, I believe in order to have the crown of the best player in the NFL, you need to take your team to the next level. Lamar has not yet done that. And more turnovers than touchdowns in games when it counts.
No, that's your metric for what game counted.
We're talking about playoff Lamar.
But you're not referencing playoff stats.
I'm just saying
You're just
he has
handpicking
he has
games.
yet to take his team to the Super Bowl, so you cannot call him the best.
Okay, so the Jalen Hurts, Jimmy Garoppolo thing does not hold weight with me because they were not even the best players on their team. The reason why Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen get slighted ahead of Lamar is because they're wildly considered the best players on their team. Jalen Hurts is like the 4th best player on his team. Jimmy Garoppolo is like the 7th best player on his team. I don't entirely bash Lamar for not making a Super Bowl yet, mainly because he can't get by one guy. But the idea that you can be the best player in the NFL and not overcome bad rosters, bad receiving cores, and get your team to the Super Bowl. Like Patrick Mahomes had a horrible receiving core when he got his team to the Super Bowl in Super Bowl 58. Yeah, he had a great defense, but he still was able to overcome that. Lamar's had great defenses statistically, and I'll get into this later, and still has not been able to overcome that. That's why I don't think you can put him in the conversation of best player in the NFL yet.
Let's be honest, Lamar Jackson is Mr. October, and in baseball and in football, that's not a great thing. You got to be Mr. January, and he has never been that. You want to talk about highlights? You know what I think about? When Lamar threw it into triple coverage, likely, thinking that he was going to get a flag from the refs. That's what he was counting on, the referees to go his way? Unacceptable. Do you know that Dak Prescott has a better passer rating in the playoffs than Lamar Jackson? 92 compared to 75? Absolutely not. Lamar, you want to know why people love Lamar Jackson? Yeah, he's Mr. Fantasy. He gets the most points fantasy the last 2 years. I call him the parlay quarterback. Now that legalized betting is cool, of course I love Lamar Jackson. He's on prime time all the time. I'm going to make a 4-leg parlay. He's going to go 50 yards. He's going to throw for 200. He's going to get a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown. That doesn't matter because the great player, the best player, finds a way to win in January, and he has yet to take that. Let's talk about the strip sack. Let's talk about he hasn't done a butt fumble yet, but that's the career trajectory he's on.
Once again, team versus like his performance against the Bills, inexcusable in the first half. Would you agree with that? 2 turnovers.
Absolutely.
His performance in the second half, fantastic.
It got better, but it takes him a while to adapt.
He didn't need to adapt in the first game against Pittsburgh.
Okay, that's Pittsburgh against an aging Russell Wilson.
One of the best defenses in the league.
Granted, okay. He got one. Now he's 3-5 in the playoffs.
So
Again, it's because Patrick Mahomes is the only guy with the team success and the individual success. You gloss over, like, oh, he was atrocious in the first half, unacceptable of the divisional round with the Bills game, but he was spectacular in the second half. Why can't he put a full playoff game together? Why can't he put a full playoff run together? I have seen Patrick Mahomes put a full playoff run together on a bad ankle. I've seen Josh Allen, even though he's lost playoff games, put a full one together where he was great the whole time. I have not seen Lamar Jackson do that yet.
play this game with me. Replace Patrick Mahomes with Lamar Jackson. You get Andy Reid as a play caller. You got Spags as a defensive play caller. How would Lamar do in the Chiefs system?
So this idea that because Patrick Mahomes has Andy Reid, has Travis Kelce, has Spags, that, oh, he's just got this infinite amount of help, and because of that, he can never be the best, or Lamar's better because Lamar has to overcome all of this. The Baltimore Ravens and John Harbaugh won the Super Bowl with Joe Flacco, who is a lesser quarterback by far than Lamar Jackson, and a great defense. In 2023 regular season into the 2024 playoffs, the Baltimore Ravens had the #1 scoring defense in the NFL. Lamar won the MVP. They couldn't get by Patrick Mahomes. They couldn't get by the Kansas City Chiefs. So it can't just be this argument that Patrick Mahomes is just got this infinite amount of help and Lamar has no help. His head coach won a Super Bowl with a lesser quarterback. He had a #1 defense. They've taken 2 receivers in the first round. Now they've added Derrick Henry, and they can't even get to the AFC Championship game. At some point, we just have to look at it and say, okay, Lamar Jackson has not been the best player in the world or lived up to snuff in the postseason to get the job done. I'm going to go ahead and call the video there. There's about another 6 to 7 minutes of this claim, him talking about Lamar being the best player in the world. If you guys want me to dive into a part 2 of this, go ahead, smash the like button, comment part 2 down there. I will go into it. If you want to see me and Jack discuss this in person or over a Zoom or something, or make a video of this, tag Jack in this, tag him on Twitter, and I will see you guys next week.